15 FBI agents scrambled down to Alabama to investigate a noose a NASCAR driver claimed he found in his garage. They found exactly what you might expect, another bogus hate crime, and when they left, they thanked him. What is going on in this country? We'll explain it after the break. Also, a massive cloud of dust, a dust storm, en route to our country from the Sahara Desert, as if things couldn't get weird. The mayor of Oakland, California, Libby Schaaf, who tonight is in the running for the worst and most incompetent mayor in the United States, promised a hate crime prosecution after what she described as nooses were discovered in a public park. After a brief investigation by the local TV station revealed they weren't nooses. They were in fact just ropes with loops at the end. They were put up by local residents for exercise.
Out of the dozens and hundreds and thousands of people that have walked by, no one, has thought that it looked anywhere close to a noose. Right, folks have used it for exercise. Folks have, it was really a fun addition to the park. Yeah. Thousands of people walked by. None of them thought it was a noose because none of them was half as hysterical as Libby Schaaf or half as political. It's kind of an amusing story, really, but it should have caused the rest of us to pause and reflect for a minute. Every few months, there appears to be new hysteria over nooses discovered somewhere, often in a public place, and almost inevitably, the hate crime we're warned about turns out to be fake. This story has been told again and again and again, but our authorities never learned the obvious lesson. This isn't a very racist country. Sorry, Democratic Party. We understand you want to get elected to power on that premise, but it's just not true, and most people know it isn't. When a noose was found in Bubba Wallace's garage, everyone instantly assumed, in the media anyway, it was a real hate crime. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who wants to be the Republican nominee next time and wants you to believe she's conservative, tweeted this, quote, "We should all stand with Bubba Wallace today against the cowards who secretly put the noose in his garage stall. Watch your back, cowards. Bubba has a bigger army than you do. Hashtag hate won't win." Nikki Haley believed it immediately and used it to make the point Nikki Haley often makes, which is America's a very racist country. Remember that. NASCAR President Steve Phelps, meanwhile, immediately vowed to ban the perpetrator for life. Then the Atlantic's Jamel Hill used the incident to tar millions of NASCAR fans as racists.
This reminder, this very stunning, shocking, appalling, disgusting reminder of who, again, this sport is for. I'm very curious as to see how NASCAR handles this, because based off what everything I've read, is that this had to be an inside job because this garage was only open to essential personnel. So somebody associated with NASCAR likely may have been the culprit.
From the beginning, there were a few who expressed public skepticism. Might this be a misunderstanding? Bubba Wallace, who never produced pictures of the noose, had a message for anyone who questioned his story. They were stupid and they were racist.
What would you say to those people who are doubting that this even happened or that it's true?
Yeah, just like Steve Phelps said, it offends me that people would go to those measures. But again, I'm not shocked. It's simple-minded people like that, the ones that are afraid of change. They use everything in their power to defend what they stand up for, and instead of trying to listen and understand.
Well, the FBI bought the story completely. They've done nothing to arrest the people who are burning police stations or tearing down monuments of George Washington. But the FBI sent 15 agents to Alabama to investigate the noose. And after days of investigation, they discovered the noose was in fact a rope with a loop used by work crews to pull down a garage door. One of these nooses was present in every garage at Talladega. Once again, authorities rushed in to believe an absurd story because it could be used to advance a political agenda. Horace Cooper is author of the book, How Trump is Making Black America Great Again, and he joins us tonight. Horace Cooper, thanks so much for coming on. I'm amazed most of all by the response from the authorities, the people in positions of power in law enforcement, in politics. Why did they react as they did?
We're all under this grand delusion that racism is running rampant in America. When I was just a little kid, my grandmother told me the story about the emperor that had no clothes. You may remember this story. As my grandmother ended the story, she explained the emperor was walking around, as she said, buck naked. And finally, a little kid said what everyone saw, knew to be true, but was denying. Well, I've got my own truth bomb. America isn't a racist country. In fact, racism is so hard to find, you have to create these circumstances in order to find one. You remember that guy in Chicago? He had to hire foreigners to do the racism that America just won't do.
We covered the Jussie Smollett story for a month, and I never used that line. I wish I'd. That's so good. But why? And I think you're absolutely right. And I think most Americans, no matter who they vote for, understand really that you're telling the truth. So the question is, why do they keep telling us this if it's not true? What's the point?
Well, part of the problem is it feeds a narrative that some people who sustain themselves politically, it feeds a narrative that they are empowered by solving. We come to rescue you from the big boogeyman racist. I've got another truth bomb. Whether you're black, white, brown, gay, straight, male, female, all Americans occasionally find they have struggles and setbacks. But because of this narrative, only a few groups are allowed to experience their struggles and their setbacks and their difficulties. But what that has done is it has divided the rest of America. The rest of America who has a difficulty, who has a struggle. It's not racism. It's not bigotry. America is an amazing place. But as our economy has changed, our elites haven't responded to those changes, and they tell poor people, mostly white, too bad for you.
Because those people don't vote for them. They're never calling the residents of Santa Monica or Cambridge, Mass racist because they're reliable voters. Horace Cooper, that was great. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.